Welcome back to the channel. Today we have to talk about some more signings before the regular season starts, and we're going to get tomorrow into the regular season, what has happened. I'll give you a big recap of that on Wednesday. We've got two games happening on Tuesday night. Lots of action coming there, and I'd love to discuss that for you there on Wednesday. Let's get right into some of these signings and moves before the start of the regular season. So I mentioned yesterday about how Denny Avdija, as I was recording the video, had signed an extension with the Washington Wizards. I didn't know the years or the value of the contract, and now I do know. It's a 4-year, $55 million deal. I love this signing for the Wizards. I think it's great value getting back for Denny Avdija. I think he can do a whole lot of things on the basketball court, and if he can tweak and kind of polish off a few aspects of his game, he can be a great player for them for the next 4 seasons. The Pelicans have picked up Matt Ryan off of waivers and signed him to a 2-way deal. Good shooter there. Maybe they can get some solid end of bench minutes out of him, or maybe they convert him to the G League to help out their G League squad develop a little bit more. The Suns have waived Keon Johnson, and it seems to be just a deal that they wanted to cut down to 15 players, and not necessarily that he isn't NBA ready, and he might be able to fit on another roster right away. They just have a whole lot of role players on that bench that were fighting for minutes, and he was the odd man out. The Pistons have converted Stanley Amude to a 2-way deal, so he's going to be joining either their main squad or the G League team very, very soon. And the Wizards have signed John Butler Jr. to a 2-way deal. So they're picking him up. I believe the last team he played on was the Portland Trail Blazers, now going to the Wizards right away. It is unclear if James Harden will return to the 76ers for Thursday and the season opener against the Milwaukee Bucks. So we won't see James Harden. That one I wouldn't say. He's been away from the team now for a while. And if we were to see him in that game, he would probably be quite rusty, as he hasn't had much time practicing with the team and some of the new acquisitions they've made in the offseason. The Pacers have signed Aaron Nesmith to an extension. I didn't see this one coming. I thought they might have tried to move away from him. I didn't even really know if he'd have much of any trade value, as he put up a pretty pedestrian season last year. Nothing very crazy, nothing that great. But they did sign him to a 3-year, $33 million deal. I'm not a huge fan of this one. I think you're overpaying for a, base salary type of NBA player. But who knows, maybe he can pick some things up now that he's gotten paid and have a bit of a breakout season for the Pacers, as he did start 60 of the 73 games that he played last season. The Rockets have waived Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, who was part of that trade getting Kevin Porter Jr. out of Houston, where Houston took back Oladipo and Robinson-Earl. Some picks changed hands there, and he is now waived. So the Rockets only have Victor Oladipo as an actual player out of that trade now. The last thing that I want to talk about is just a quick recap there today, is the Jaden McDaniels signing. The T-Wolves have extended him 5 years, $136 million. This is a massive, massive overpayment in my opinion. Shams has really tweeted out saying that he had a breakout season. He was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He really wasn't. He hardly was. I think he got one vote, and it was 12th place for Defensive Player of the Year. That's really far down. For example, some of those votings too aren't legitimate when you start getting down to 12th place. Like Derrick Rose, I think, had an MVP vote 3 or 4 seasons ago and was nowhere near an MVP caliber player at that stage in his career. And now we have Jaden McDaniels, who is really just a defensive specialist and doesn't even really get many steals, less than 1 a game. He does get a good few blocks for a wing, and is one of the better wing defenders in the league, but his three-point shooting is a bit of a question. He shot 39% last season, albeit on 3 attempts. He's going to need some more volume there, because the season before, he's only 31% from 3. So is it an outlier, or is he just progressing at that rate? We'll really have to see. Not really sure what the Timberwolves are doing here. They've extended Anthony Edwards. Fair enough. Great deal there. You want to keep him around as long as you can. He's a great talent in this league and one of the better players in it. Karl-Anthony Towns, who I think is on the digression right now, and they need to move away from him if they have Rudy Gobert locked up. I can't see a team taking on Gobert or the Timberwolves even getting near return on what they had to give up in order to get Gobert. And everybody thought instantly it wasn't going to be a good fit. Last season proved that it was not a good fit. So it looks like Karl-Anthony Towns could be on the move because of this signing, but I don't know if I'm very happy as a Minnesota Timberwolves fan if I was one, but for their fans, this is not great. This is a lot of money to pay for defensive specialists. McDaniels put up about 12 and 4 last season in 30 minutes a game. He started to shoot the ball well and 52% from the field. Got to the line a little bit more, albeit at 73% from the free throw line. But if you look into some of the advanced stats, I recommend you do so. Crafted NBA is a great spot to look at if you want to look at the percentile that they fit into the current NBA or from different eras or however which way you may want to compare it. And he just really isn't a good offensive player, but performs well on the defensive end. So once again, a specialist for that kind of money. Quite the overpayment, in my opinion, when you got a guy like Denny Avdija. Not saying that they're on the similar level, but skill-wise, they're kind of right there. Avdija has a lot of things that he can do offensively and lacks on the defensive end, and then McDaniels is really defensive-minded with a little bit of shooting last season on lower amount of attempts. So if you look at Avdija making $55 million for 4 years, and then Jaden McDaniels being locked in on a team that's already in money troubles for 5 years, 136, a massive overpayment. I don't think this market was there for him, and we'll have to see if he can even live up to some of that money. This has been Core Chronicles. I can't wait to be talking to you there now on Wednesday. If there's any more news, we'll update you, and I will make a video tomorrow based on that. Until next time, I'm signing out.